Well, hello everyone. My name is Julian Contreras and I have the pleasure of being your instructor this semester. I wanted to take a few minutes in this video to run through how the course is laid out, what to expect from the course, how your grades will be calculated, etc. So when this video finishes, answer the questions that follow and you will earn credit towards your final grade for having done so. First of all, thank you for enrolling in the course. Thank you for your interest in the course. I think we have created a course that is at once engaging and entertaining, but also a course where I think you'll feel like you have every chance to succeed. Okay, so basically, what is this course? This is an introductory course, an introduction to art. This is not a course where you will produce art, but it is an introduction to what art has meant over time. Okay, so there's a strong history component in this course because I believe it's important that we understand art in context. What did art mean to the culture that produced it? Okay, so yes, modern era, we have our ideas and our theories about art and whatever counts counts and that sort of thing. But up until the modern era, art objects were those objects that expressed the ideals and the hopes and the philosophies of a culture more generally. So we're going to walk through history, see art in context, so that we can understand, literally stand under the experience of someone who may have lived at the time that the art was produced, to understand what it would have meant to them. Now, having that as a foundation, then we can theorize and decide what we like and don't like, but that's the reason for the history component. There's also a decidedly Western perspective from which we are approaching this whole idea of art. And there's a reason for that as well. Basically, the notion that art objects express ideas and that those ideas are more than the object itself, that's a Western construct primarily. That idea was developed, fostered in the West for the most part. Now, you'll see as we get to the end of the semester, we will take a look at art from different cultures, and that idea will be challenged, but that'll come later in the semester. But that's why we approach this this way. Okay, now the course itself, what can you expect? How is it laid out? Well, being an introductory course, being a survey course where we cover a lot of things, right? Everything from the earliest art right through modernism and then different cultures. We're kind of flying at 30,000 feet, trying to get an overview of many of the key ideas. So what I've done is divided the course into 6 modules. So when you look on Canvas, you'll see those 6 tabs, those 6 images. Each tab represents a module that we're going to address during the semester. Now, this is a sequential course, so you can't get to module 2 until you go through module 1 and so on, okay? And within the modules, there are a certain number of PowerPoints, usually 3, okay? And the way the course lays out, there's about 1 PowerPoint per week. We have about an 18-week course, 6 modules, 3 PowerPoints. You get the idea, for the most part. Okay, at the end of the semester, I think that last module we try to shove all 3 PowerPoints into 2 weeks, but you'll see when you get there. Now, within each module, I try to leave the entire module open, okay, which is to say, 3 PowerPoints and the quiz for each module are open for the duration of the module, so for 3 weeks. And that's the beauty of an online course. You can do the work whenever it suits you as your work requirements allow and that sort of thing, okay? But it is sequential, so we start with module 1, and module 1 will contain a video like this that explains what to expect and big ideas, that sort of thing. And then you go through PowerPoint 1, PowerPoint 2, PowerPoint 3, and then you complete the quiz. Pretty straightforward. You do not have a big midterm, nor do you have a big final in this class. You only have the module quizzes, so 6 quizzes, 1 at the end of each module, okay? So this course is not difficult in the sense that you're not, calculating, really extravagant equations and that sort of thing, but it is difficult in this sense. There's a lot of material coming at you quite quickly. And at the end of, each 3 weeks, you have a 50-question quiz. But you may have covered 200 new ideas, right? So stay on top of the due dates, stay on pace with the course, and you're going to do fine, okay? Any questions, always email me. You'll see my email on the syllabus. So if you look on Canvas, look to the left, there's a syllabus tab. My email is there. That's the best way to communicate with me. Okay, so 6 module quizzes, 1 quiz at the end of every module. Okay, that's the bulk of your grade. In addition to that, you will do 2 journal entries. The journal entries are quite straightforward. The journal entries are your opportunity to reflect on where we've been. 1 at the halfway point and 1 at the end. So after the first 3 modules, you look back and you write about those things that interested you. Please, in the journal entries, and I'll lay this out in more detail, but don't write a review. Don't just go over what we've covered as a list. I'm really looking for your reflections. Now, each journal entry, I think, is worth 100 points. I'm telling you, I reserve the highest grades for those that are really original ideas, really thinking through the material. So make sure you meet the requirements, make sure you get it in by the due date, and you will get good points for that. But I'm just telling you, I reserve the top scores, perfect scores for those people that just really nail it, okay? So 6 quizzes, 2 journal entries, and at the end of the semester, a museum paper. What is that about? Well, I'll post it about halfway through the semester. I'll give you more details, but it's basically this. After looking at all this art and going through the PowerPoints and such, you go out to a museum and see art in person. You encounter it, you engage it, and then think of it sort of as a scavenger hunt. You're going now looking for those things that we've covered, right? Various techniques and styles and eras or a particular artist's influence, right? You go out, you write about it. Again, if you do it, the museum paper is mostly about doing it. Many students say it's the best part of the whole class, but get out, do it, follow the minimum requirements, and you'll do fine, okay? So, if I haven't said already, best way to contact me is email me. So if you have any issues coming up with due dates, if you know ahead of time, let me know and I will try to work with you. But I've left those modules open for 3 weeks so that any scheduling difficulties can be handled at your time schedule, okay? So I'm hoping that alleviates some of that. There will be other assignments through the semester for which you'll get grades. So you get grades for everything. Watching the introductory video at the beginning of every module, going through the PowerPoints. The way you get credit is by, in the videos, I will mention a keyword or something like that, or I'll mention a big idea, or you'll answer questions about the video. You get points. In the PowerPoints, as you read through, there'll be a keyword that's clearly identified. It will say something like, the text submission for this PowerPoint is, or the key idea, concept for this PowerPoint is. You just enter that at the end of the PowerPoint to get credit for doing it. I want to give you credit for doing the work as you go through because you have no textbook in this course. The PowerPoints and the videos are your textbook, okay? But at the end of the semester, here's how your grade is calculated. I add up all the points that you've earned and I compare it to a possible of 1,000. Now, you'll notice as we go through the semester, there may be more than 1,000 points available after we've looked at all the assignments, but I'm just looking at how many points you've earned and comparing it to 1,000. So anyone who earns over 900 points receives an A. Anyone who earns between 800 and 899 is a B. It's really straightforward. And there's a little bit of extra credit built in because I understand on a journal entry or something like that, you might say, well, 5 points here, 5 points there would have made a difference. Yes, but you will have also had the opportunity to earn those points if you do all the work. Okay, does that make sense? So just keep that in mind. Your grade, total number of points out of 1,000. One caveat. Watch it with Canvas because depending on what device you're using and how the app appears and that sort of thing, Canvas will sometimes give you a running average, but it's only an average of those things that you've turned in. So let's say a student didn't turn in 50% of the work, but on the 50% they did turn in, they had a 90% average. Canvas will lead you to believe you have a 90% average because Canvas does not calculate those things that were never turned in. I will calculate that, okay? So don't look at the average, look at the total number of points. Any questions? Email me. I look forward to our interaction online. Thank you.